All right, I break down all of these characters on the world stage, as you may know by now. Even the NHL, the National Hockey League, and these hockey players, okay? Now, this is Adam Lowry. You see him right here. Okay, now this is the Winnipeg Jets captain, American born, Canadian, professional ice hockey center, and as I said, captain of the Winnipeg Jets of the National Hockey League. Now, something I just noticed, you can see right here, he's going to miss 5 to 6 months after hip surgery. That's devastating. Okay? That's really devastating. As you know, we're about to hit the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're not a part of it. So their season is done. But they did finish first place in their division. And something I just noticed, they ended the season with 56 wins. Look at this right here. 56 victories out of 82 games. Look at that. And now their captain is going to miss 5 to 6 months after hip surgery. Really? I'm noticing also that they finished with 116 points. The 116, that number, it keeps hitting with these breakdowns trending. I don't even want to have to keep bringing it up, but I have no option but to bring it up, and I'll just bring you over here to the Miley Cyrus breakdown. This is already done, right? This is already out there. Scroll back on the videos. But look, the 116 keeps popping up, and I'm just catching that on the fly with the Jets with the 116 points. Now we get them trending 116. Joe Montana's birthday, Diana Taurasi's birthday, and these birthdays are right around the corner. This guy just died with the same birthday. United States, former United States Representative Charles Rangel. He's got the 116 birthday. He died 16 days before that birthday. United States Representative 161. Hannah, who is, Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. Hannah's got the 116. And even her father had 16 studio albums. So this number keeps freaking hitting. And it hits again on the fly with this breakdown. And there's other examples as well, but that's just a quick example on the fly to show you the 116 one more time, okay? Right? And they finished with 56 wins on the season, and then now their captain's out 5 to 6 months. Well, you know what I'm saying? It's wild, okay? It's completely wild. So this character is out of St. Louis, Missouri, a member of the Winnipeg Jets here. He had 4 goals in 13 postseason games for the Jets, including one in double overtime and a first-round clinching 4-3 win in Game 7 over the St. Louis Blues. The 32-year-old Lowry has played his entire 11-year career with Winnipeg and will be entering the final season of his 5-year contract. So, when does the season start again? In October or something? So, I don't know. Whenever he comes back, it says out 5 to 6 months. Well, I guess does it really matter if he's going to be out if they're in the off season now? I don't know. but he may miss a little bit of time at the beginning. But anyways, the team announced this Wednesday. Okay, the Jets did not reveal the reason why Lowry required surgery, which took place on Tuesday and came 10 days, just 10 days after the regular season President's Trophy winners were eliminated by Dallas. And that was in game 6 of their second round playoff series. Okay, and the President's Trophy, if you don't know, maybe you're not a hockey fan. What is the President's Trophy in the NHL? You see, they had the best overall record. So this is what could be called by some as some kind of ritual. It's like, hey, you're going to go without your player now. He's going to have surgery. And where are you really going to go? Are you really going to have surgery? We can't just believe what we're told, right? We see this a lot with certain characters when they, maybe have a good season or their team is successful. They disappear. They say it's surgery. Sometimes they come back and it doesn't look like the same person. But anyways, I'm not here to really stretch about all of that. I have some amazing connections, and this isn't going to be too long, okay? Oh, but first, I guess I wanted to show you, this is a physical type of character who will drop the gloves from time to time, and this is allowed in the NHL. They get a little penalty to go along with it. But this isn't the result. This isn't his injury as a result of a fight, but let's just see the character throw fists. And obviously I got to be sensitive, right? As I'll kick the volume down. And we'll see the character just throw some fists here before we get into it, because I don't have too many slides here. So you see how the characters are going to come down here. They're going to get mad at each other. They're going to drop the gloves. Okay, let's take a look here. So you see Adam Lowry right here. Look, he kind of gives a little cross check to the guy in green. Look it up here by the boards. He's mad about something, so he comes up. Bam. Kind of like a little minor little cross check. He's upset with them. And look, this is what happens. It's like, okay, now it's go time. This is Jamie Benn over here of the Dallas Stars. That's interesting because that's the team that knocked them out of the playoffs. So that's just interesting, as this is one of the examples I showed here. But you see Adam Lowry here of Winnipeg. You see him, they throw the gloves off. They're ready to go. You got to get a good grab. You're on skates. You don't want to just fall over. You grab onto the other guy. You can't just swing wildly. And they're up 4 here. So this would probably benefit the guy in green more as an energy type of thing, trying to get his, trying to show his team he's willing to fight even though they're out of the game. So you see Lowry in here. You see he tosses a punch in there. He gets a few punches. Boom, another punch hits the helmet. You got to be careful of that as well. But this is what goes down in hockey, okay? It's not the major thing that goes along with the sport, but I kind of wish they did this more in the other sports where they actually fought rather than just kind of push each other and they call it a fight. So Jamie Benn here, he's taken a couple off the helmet. But, he at any moment he can strike, which he will. He will get some shots here. Lowry looks like he's kind of expecting it also. Ooh, Lowry gets in another, but look, this punch looks like it's about to nail Lowry right in the face. Look at that. See, it got him right in the face. I know that didn't feel good either. These are two talented players here. And you could see Jamie Benn's about to get the left going there. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Lowry comes with the big right. And again, this is just kind of so we can get familiar with the character. This is the captain, right? now he's going to miss with hip surgery, not as a result of this fight, but he's showing that he's willing to fight for his team. And he doesn't have to fight, as you know, they're going to pull off the victory in this game. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, unless there was some wild comeback that I'm not aware of, but oof, wasn't that a nice punch? And you can see as they go forward, they're both done and they just stop. And that's two professionals right there. And I just wanted to show you that just so you can get kind of familiar. Look at this. This is what I do, okay? If you don't know about hockey, you know about the NBA, and you may have heard of this other player with the same name, Lowry. Kyle Lowry. You can see at one point he was a member of the Toronto Raptors. When you think of Toronto, Canada, you think of hockey, don't you? You think of hockey. Well, I do, anyways. I think of Canada when I think of hockey, all right? Now, isn't that amazing? You get hockey player Lowry. He plays for the Winnipeg Jets, Winnipeg in Canada. Kyle Lowry, the same last name. They even have 4 letters in their first name each. What are the odds Kyle Lowry was a member of the Toronto Raptors? And you get Adam Lowry, currently captain of the Winnipeg Jets. And you get hockey, you get basketball. Immediately when I saw the story with Adam Lowry trending, I'm like, oh, what other characters named Lowry that I can think of? Ding, ding, ding. Their birthdays are 4 days apart, if I didn't mention that already. Adam Lowry with the March 29 birthday. Kyle Lowry with the March 25th, 4 days before. I don't know where Kyle Lowry is nowadays, but I remember him when he was on the Raptors. I don't know where he is now. I don't know. But look, isn't that amazing? Again, you get the same name and you get the birthday within 4 days. I don't go and stretch on this. I don't go scan a bunch of Lowrys that are famous and look for the one where the birthday hits like this. It's not what I do. It's the one that I'm familiar with, and it's Kyle Lowry and Adam Lowry. And look at that. Now let's get to this surgery. And it said the team wouldn't let us know why the surgery, or usually in hockey, it's like they don't really explain the injuries. I don't know if it's a toughness thing. They don't like to talk about it. You know what I mean? It may be something to do with the toughness. But look at this. I'm coming with the numbers. If you don't believe anything, I'm not here to make you believe. I just want you to see this. These are facts. Okay? Winnipeg Jets. Look at that in the reverse cipher, 173, and that is the 40th prime number. 40 equals Adam Lowry, 40 equals surgery. And it's just 4 base ciphers, okay? And remember, they had 56 wins in the regular season, and now the captain is going to miss 5 to 6 months. Speaking of that 5 to 6 months with the 56 wins and the President's Trophy, Adam Lowry is 6'5". It's the same numbers, just reversed, okay? And that's a big dude, right? And you see, not afraid to drop the gloves and fight. Hip surgery equals 65. In reduction, Winnipeg Jets equals 65. So, missing 5 to 6 months, they get 56 wins. He's 6'5". Now he's having hip surgery. 65 in the language. Winnipeg Jets 65. Even hip surgery's got 52 like Winnipeg. So what are you trying to tell me, Math Toucan? Well, I'm trying to tell you that these stories, they pump out by this code, and it starts with the language. Letters have numerical values, obviously. These patterns are undeniable. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Are you saying that people don't get hurt and everything is fake? No, that's not what I'm saying. If it's trending, it's by the numbers and by the code. It keeps everything balanced. A whole year goes by, you may get certain numbers hit at the same time every year. I'm not a master at this. I can't necessarily tell you which months when this hits. Maybe every 8 years, through a certain span of time throughout the year, certain numbers hit. I don't know all of that. I do know that I do this daily, and this is a gift that I have, which can also be a curse as well. It is what it is. I could be on here doing a food review. Oh, look at the latest burrito from Taco Bell. Let me eat it and tell you what I think. Dude, that's not talented. You know what I'm saying? This actually takes like a brain, and I'm not here to diss anybody. I'm just saying these are facts, and look at that. It's not a coincidence in my opinion. Wednesday, the team announced this hip surgery for the captain, Adam Lowry. 61-day span. His birthday, March 29th. From that day to this announcement, start to end date, 61-day span. Winnipeg Jets 61 in the reduction cipher. Shout out to Richard West. Here's that 61 again. Bud, here's that 61 again. And, amongst us decoders who do this all the time, that may be a language not everybody's going to understand, but here's the 61 again. These certain numbers, we all do different decodes. We all may do the same decodes. And then we watch each other's videos. We're seeing like certain numbers pop up with other numbers right now. Okay. And that is kind of hard to explain, but this isn't. Winnipeg Jets, straight up numerology, reduction cipher, 61-day span, dude's birthday to the announcement, okay? Now, Adam Lowry selected by the Jets in the 3rd round, and that is number 67 overall in his draft back in 2011. 67th overall. 67 is the 19th prime number. Adam equals 19. Winnipeg 119 like 19. And I want you to know the significance with the numbers 1 and 9 with Jets and with planes. I got to do it. Remember this date in history. Let me grab a drink of my coffee. Remember this? This was a very famous event that took place in New York involving, look at the date. You see ones, you see a September, which is the 9th month. Okay? You see what could be a plane, which is kind of like a jet. Okay? You see the 1 and 9. Don't forget the Baseball World Series that was just after that event in New York. The Yankees lost the World Series to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay? Arizona Airplanes. You want to hear something else amazing? This Winnipeg Jets hockey team, they moved to Arizona and became the Phoenix Coyotes. But again, and then Arizona, they moved to Utah, so we no longer have a hockey team out here in Arizona. But then the team I don't know how they call it, but the team resumed the Winnipeg Jets franchise, like it started up again, kind of like the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. They moved to Baltimore, became the Ravens, but then the Cleveland Browns became a team again. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best way I can explain that. But that 1 and that 9, and don't forget 19 equals chaos as well. Okay, 19 equals chaos. He was even named the captain of the Jets. Look at the date. September 12th, 2023. 1 day after the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. You see that? You see that? Don't forget, he has played his entire 11-year NHL career with Winnipeg, and he was drafted in 2011, like the 11th day of the 9th month. You see that? Don't forget, New York's the 11th state. And that event took place on the day leaving 111 days in the year. And, those two structures look like an 11 next to each other. But that's all documented, okay? That's all documented. I'm telling you, I mean, this is the code, man. This is the code. And even look, hip surgery, look at that 146. That's Trump's birthday, the 14th day of the 6th month. Just putting it out there. Okay, as that 146 has been hitting. Look, Adam Lowry, 121 and 50. Adam Lowry, 112 and 50. Donald equals 112 and 50. I'm not even trying to bring up that dude. Okay? And there's other numbers here. He was born in St. Louis. They say he's out of St. Louis, however they want to put it. St. Louis, 47 like Trump, 25 like Trump. And again, I'm not here to bring up the character. Wow, that 61-day span. Oh, look, that's kind of like a 19 as well. Right there. You see that? Flip that 61 over, you get a 19. That even connects with Trump also, man. His middle name, John, 16 and 61. And don't forget the Capitol riot, the first month and the 6th day. Man, wasn't even tried to bring dude up, man, and he makes an appearance. I don't have any photos of him, though. Hopefully saying his name doesn't ruin everything with the algorithm. But okay. And don't forget, out 5 to 6 months. And the Jets had 56 wins. Let's not forget that. The Jets with 56 victories. It's wild, okay? It is wild. You see that? And even the 116 points, which connects with that 61. Ooh, look at the Stars who beat them out in the playoffs, I think is what it said. Look, they had 106 points. Damn. So, yeah, I mean, here he is again. There's always like more, okay? There's always more. As I look here, I just notice all of this other stuff and I'm just like, ugh. And you see top story, hip surgery. Since we're here, explain hip surgery. I don't know. Does that make sense? Surgery to remove damaged sections of the hip joint and replace them. Self-explanatory, right? So yeah, I just wanted to come with that breakdown real quick, man. It doesn't matter what the sport. If anybody has a request on a trending character, I don't care. Soccer, tennis, croquet, Whatever it is, just let me know, man. I got your back. And there's probably more here that I'm missing right in front of my face. Ooh, the Jets. But don't forget, remember the Patriots in the NFL? They became huge after that event we were talking about in, 911 New York, the two structures, airplanes. Remember the Patriots became the greatest franchise ever in the NFL after that? And Tom Brady came in when Drew Bledsoe got injured against the Jets. Don't forget that. You see? The Jets took out Bledsoe. Look, the hit that almost killed Drew Bledsoe. That's what it says right there. The Jets took him out. And look, he's got 11 on his jersey. You see what I'm saying? The Jets in the NFL. You see how that hits? And then Brady. Oh, now you see. Now you see the 11, the Jets, and you see how it connects to hockey. And then Brady steps in. We had the Patriot Act, right? Do you know what the Patriot Act is? Explain the Patriot Act.
According to Department of Justice. First, the Patriot Act removed the wall that prevented our law enforcement and foreign counterintelligence investigators from sharing information. Second, the Patriot Act gives intelligence officials and law enforcement officers the necessary tools to identify, apprehend, and prosecute
Yeah, that's a lot of blah, 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 but it hit after this right here. But it hit after that. No pun intended. So anyways, you can see how a simple breakdown, it's hard to do simple breakdowns when you have this knowledge because you just want to continue to expose and expose. But all of that's well documented. AI, anybody out there, ask if you have questions. You know what I'm saying? I make a lot of videos too. You could just scroll back. Winnipeg Jets captain Adam Lowry to miss 5 to 6 months after hip surgery. And if I'm not mistaken, the season kicks up again in October. So what? We're almost in June. So what? He may miss a month of the season, maybe. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Shout out to y'all, right? And who cares if he's missing months in the off season? I know they have to stay in shape and all of that. Anyways, time for me to go. Until next time.